We are sometimes so petrified of being lonely that we don't allow ourselves to be alone at any given point of time, and we actually miss out on the benefits of being alone. So, today I want to talk about the difference between being alone and being lonely, because there is actually a difference. As human beings, we need relationship, we need connection, we need people, and if we don't get that, even for a small amount of time, we feel lonely. But we also need to be alone, because I believe that being alone for some time, taking that step back for some time, is needed for us to live our best life. So today I wanted to share with you 4 benefits of being alone. Benefit number 1: it allows you to take a step back from your life and reflect. Now, when you're in the midst of a storm, you're not going to be looking around at the scenery, you're not going to be looking at the view, you're not going to be looking at the other boats, you're not going to be looking at the water and admiring it. You're going to be focused on the storm and surviving in that storm. That's what happens in our life when we are so focused on our day to day, when we are so focused on surviving, when we're so focused on providing for our family, so focused on making sure everything works out well. We don't really pay attention to what's going on around us, what's going on within us. We are just focused on making it to the end of the day. That is where taking that step back and being alone with your own thoughts, reflecting on how your life is going, is it going in the right direction, or have you ended up in a place where you didn't want to be? This is where you can do that. And you will retreat out of your regular life and spend that time going through your life, where you are in your life, what you're doing with your life. That is where you get perspective. Taking a step back from your life doesn't mean that you leave your life completely and escape in order to gain perspective. Being alone just means that you take some time every single day, every single week, or at least every single month to reflect, to think, to look at your life as a third party from the outside to see whether what you're looking at is something that you're proud of. This can mean for parents getting up earlier in the morning, because that's the only time you get without kids, without spouses, without anybody taking away your time. This could mean staying up later at night to spend some time journaling and going through what happened during the day. This could mean taking some time off on the weekend, away from your family, away from your friends, on your own, so that you have that time to yourself to actually breathe, because most of the time we just go, and we don't even have time to think about where am I actually going. The second benefit is that being alone allows you time to recharge. Now, we all can agree that we have limited energy both physically and mentally. Now, when we are physically drained out, we notice the symptoms. We feel tired, we feel sleepy, we feel our body hurting, parts of our body hurting. We notice that about ourselves, and then we choose to rest. But when it comes to mental energy drain, we sometimes don't notice it, but yet it shows up in our life. It can show up in ways like you may be feeling very angry and irritable and frustrated, and you don't know why suddenly you're snapping at everybody. That might mean because you're mentally tired. It might show up in your mind being foggy, you feeling very unmotivated and unproductive, and you just don't know why it's happening. That might mean that you're mentally drained. You might be wondering, why is it that I have everything around me and I'm still not happy? That might be because you're mentally drained. All these signs and symptoms tell us that our charge has depleted and it's time to recharge. And we recharge by being alone. We are constantly getting bombarded by so many things every single day. There's so much stimulus coming our way, whether it's through our friends, our family, social media, our work. It's just constantly bombarding us. The only way we can escape it, the only way we can recharge ourselves mentally, is to separate ourselves. Oftentimes I hear people saying that I have so many people to take care of, so many responsibilities, how can I afford to step away and be alone? And to that I say that if you really value those people, if you really value those relationships, you need to be at your best in order to build the best relationships, and that's not going to come when you are depleted, when you are not recharged. Benefit number 3: being alone also forces us to address the real issues. When we are in the midst of life, when we are in the hustle of life, we don't take the time to stop and think about any issues that crop up because we just don't have the time. Oftentimes, we don't want to deal with our issues. We don't want to deal with areas of our life that need growth. Oftentimes, we're so afraid of having to deal with those issues in the first place that even if we are alone, we use food or alcohol or any other such distraction to numb our feelings, to numb our emotions, to numb what we are thinking. But I honestly believe that if you're going to ignore any areas of growth, if you're going to ignore any real problems that you have, it's going to erupt someday and somehow, and at that time, you're not going to be able to bottle it up. So, the best way to deal with those areas of growth is to actually take that time alone to deal with that, to find out what is it that you're going through. Do you need help with it? Is there something that you can do yourself? Is there something that you can incorporate into your life to handle it better? Instead of feeling anxious and then trying to numb that anxiety by maybe drinking the weekend away, are you taking the time to think, why am I feeling anxious? What is triggering me to feel anxious? Is there a way that I can overcome that anxiety? We don't like to be left alone with our thoughts sometimes because they can overwhelm us. But if we want to grow, if we want to become the best versions of ourselves, we need to take those times alone. And it is in those times that we truly understand ourselves. I've heard many stories of people going on meditation retreats where they're not supposed to talk for 10 days, and that is where they have understood what they want from life, what their purpose in life is. And that just reiterates for me that how important being alone is, because if you are spending 10 days without any other voices in your head and just your own, you're going to realize who you are and who you want to be, and it's going to be much easier to become who you want to be when you know it in the first place. Benefit number 4: being alone gives you the time to do the things that matter. In order to build the life that you want, in order to create the life that you want, you need time and you need energy. And being alone gives you both of these. Most times you do have to separate yourself in order to build something, because you can't say yes to every invitation, you can't say yes to every social occasion, you can't say yes to every birthday or anniversary and then expect to create the life that you want to create. You have to say no sometimes. You have to be the one working alone late at night sometimes. And for that, we need to get comfortable being alone. There are phases in our life where we will spend a lot of time with friends, with family, and there are phases in our life where we need to just double down and focus on building the life that we want. And that's a choice that we make, knowing that there is something more important right now that we need to focus on. If we don't figure out a way to be alone, if we don't enjoy being alone, if we don't feel comfortable being alone, we will always be surrounded by people, and it is their lives or their choices or their decisions or their thoughts or their opinions that are going to influence and dictate our lives. Being alone is not such a scary thing that we make it out to be. We become better friends, we become better parents, we become better spouses, we become better people in general when we take that time periodically to be alone with ourselves, with our thoughts, with our ideas. That time is going to be so crucial for you to actually take this life that you have and make it into the life that you wish for. There's more to come on how to create the life that you want. So if you're interested, subscribe to follow along.